Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Division video. Now if you didn't catch last week's video, then I spoke about destruction, environmental damage and persistence within the game world. So if you haven't seen that, then make sure you go and check it out on the channel at the end of this video. But in today's video, I'm talking about skills and talents. Now I touched on this topic briefly in my video about how classes, or the lack thereof, will work in the Division, but I figured it's about time I go a little more in depth. First up, it's worth noting that there have been some significant changes in the way that skills work in the Division, and some of the footage you'll see in this video is from the E3 2013 demo, which is now out of date. But I left it in there just to give you something to watch while I talk. So anything you see pertaining to skill trees in the footage, just see as an example, but note that it's not what you'll actually see in game. There has been an updated demo shown, but it was behind closed doors at Gamescom, which we weren't allowed to record, so for the time being, you'll just have to listen. First up, back in the original demo, you may remember seeing two things: skills and talents. Skills are abilities which you can use to either inflict damage to your enemy or support your fellow teammates. These skills can be assigned from your smartwatch menu in game and can be switched around to suit different situations. And talents, well, they are now a thing of the past. Whether they've been removed completely or will factor in somewhere else later in the game remains to be seen, and once I do know more I'll be sure to let you guys know, but for the time being you can ignore what you previously knew or thought you knew about talents. But, just as a quick history lesson, for those of you that are interested in what they were previously, talents were effectively a means for you to develop your character, enhance your skills and further define your player. They were spent in a talent tree and could be respec'd if necessary. But, either way, I'm not going to dwell on that too much as it's now a thing of the past. Now, as previously mentioned in the class video, because Division adopts a classless system, you are never bound or tied into one specific role. So what that means is that if you pick skills that will say better support your team, you aren't then confined to being a support character for the rest of the game. You can switch to suit each and every encounter. Skills are purchased using skill points, and it is possible to obtain and upgrade all skills. It'll probably take you some time, but the option is there for those of you that want complete flexibility. So again, that further illustrates the fact that you are not bound by any typical class archetype. On top of skills, and most likely now what is used in place of talents, there is a mechanic known as skill modding. Now skill mods, or modifications, come in three tiers: 1, 2 and 3, and these mods will affect the way a skill behaves. When you first acquire a skill, you'll have it at its base level, but when you are able to modify it, you'll have a selection of options to choose from. Whether these mods will cost you experience points or money, or whether you'll simply acquire them by using the skill over time and leveling up, remains to be seen, but for the time being, let's talk a little bit about the tiers. On the lower tier, tier 1, they will simply increase the base values of some skills. For example, longer durations, marginally more damage, wider area of effect, etc. These are your most basic modifications and are simply designed to increase the effectiveness of a given skill. Then when you kick it up a notch, tier 2 will actually alter the behaviour of your skills. For example, your base turret, which would normally just shoot out bullets, can now deal incendiary damage. Or alternatively, you could turn your Seeker Mine, which rolls along the ground and chases enemies, into a Bouncing Betty. So you should now begin to see that midway through the tier tree, you've already started to change the behaviour of some of your skills. Then for tier 3, we don't currently know too much about this one, there haven't been too many examples, but if you follow the trend, then you'd expect them to be something pretty extreme. One example we have seen is that your tier 2 incendiary turret can now become a flamethrower in tier 3. So if you use that as a baseline, then imagine what you could do to your Seeker Mine. What if, instead of just rolling around the ground and chasing your enemies, it could climb walls? Kinda like the Bombchu in Zelda. Now seeing as the new skill tree and the skill modding system seems to have replaced the old skill tree and the talents, then the final complete list of skills still remains to be seen. However, some of the skills we have seen are things such as turrets, which you can place down to fire at enemies, a pulse, which sends out this optical pulse in a wide radius, highlighting all targets in range even through walls, your Seeker Mine, which you can deploy and will pursue enemies, or you have support abilities, things like Adrenaline Boost, which will recover friendly targets' health and stamina, or even further, some sort of group healing ability which will allow you to heal all teammates within the vicinity. You also have distraction devices, kind of like a sort of Splinter Cell mechanic, whereby you throw an item, it emits a sound and that draws targets nearby. And there's even a skill called Shockwave, which we don't actually know too much about, but I would imagine it would be some sort of close range encounter maneuver whereby you deploy it and it would disperse or daze nearby enemies and give you a chance to get out. Either way, there are a wide range of skills for you to choose from, and as and when I do have a confirmed list, I will do a breakdown on exactly what they are, but for the time being, this is how skills and skill modding will work within the Division, and that brings me nicely to the end of this video. Now hopefully you found this helpful and hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that like button down below, it does really help us out, and obviously don't forget to subscribe for daily gaming videos and weekly Division coverage. Thursday is our Division day, so make sure you tune back every week for a brand new Division video, and if you're subscribed, then you won't miss a thing. If you have any questions, then drop them down in the comments down below, and also let me know what you think of this new skill modding system. And thank you very much for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.